Gemini, the message that I have for this reading is that you've become completely exhausted by the constant need to prove your right to be here. There's this rage that I feel has been building up inside of you, and it's not really without reason. I feel it's because you're beginning to wake up to the truth that there's these delays, these kinds of detours or just distractions that have been building up inside of you. And I feel that you're preparing to burst out of a cage that you never knew you were inside of. There's this kind of agitation that I'm feeling around the Gemini collective right now, and it's surrounding everything that's been shrinking you. But what you need to understand here is that all of this is happening, all of this is bubbling to the surface to show you, to prove to you that it was never because there was something broken inside of you. This is all the result of being buried beneath beliefs that weren't yours. And that weight that you feel that you have been carrying isn't failure. It's your unprocessed power. What do we have for Gemini? Six of Swords, Aquarius energy at the foundation of the reading. Perfect card to begin the reading because this further reinforces what I said in my opening message about this feeling of you preparing to burst out of a cage that you never knew you were inside of. Six of Swords. You're transitioning on from something, and there's something very mental here as well, Gemini, which is where this agitating energy is that I've been picking up on. You felt restriction around your life, and you've never been able to put a kind of name to it. You've never been able to label it. You've never been able to fully find the source, or rather the root, but now you have. I just heard psychological warfare. Gemini, I feel that you have been in certain dynamics throughout your life that have mirrored each other. It's like you go from one dynamic onto another one that is a perfect mirror reflection of the previous one, just in a different kind of packaging. Now, this can obviously speak about people in your life, but it's more of an energy. It's more of a vibration, let's just say. And all of these things, the people, the places, the circumstances, all fall under that one umbrella. Now, this particular vibration, this kind of mindset, I feel is something you've been carrying with you for quite some time. And I feel this is the reason why you have been feeling held back in a certain area of your life. It has nothing to do with you not having the tools. It has to do with the way you're processing it. And this is a direct reflection on your surroundings. Now, the Six of Swords here is telling us that you're preparing to move on from this. It's like being in a conversation with somebody and you just hear them in a way that you haven't before. You hear a kind of tone. You hear something that you don't like, and you have this light bulb moment, a kind of epiphany. It's like everything in an instant floods through and makes you realize that unless you get away from said energy, you are going to remain stuck inside this cyclical cycle that you never asked to be a part of. Now, it would be very easy to see how childhood dynamics could lead us to a place like this. That's always the most obvious place to look. But sometimes it's not as simple as that. Sometimes it's not as simple as just saying, well, my childhood dynamics were this way and that way, and the authority in my life, they had a limiting belief mindset, and I suffered with that for the first part of my life, and now I've grown out of that. Some people can say that, but some people, it goes deeper than that. It's something that's so deeply ingrained that it's on a subconscious layer. And it takes experiencing quite a bit of life before this starts to just erupt from the inside of you. This is one of these moments where you're clenching your fists and you're screaming at the universe, asking, why? What am I doing wrong? But again, it's nothing you're doing wrong. It's the way you're processing something. Now, I feel that this Six of Swords at the foundation is showing us that there's a break. This is your light at the end of the tunnel. And this is the universe saying to you that you were never behind. You were bound to something that you never knew you were bound to. It's like you were taught to shrink before you ever had a chance to shine. And I'm also hearing that in a lot of cases, many of you out there were never told you were great because your greatness would have exposed their mediocrity. Okay, let's keep moving forward. What do we have with the sacral, please, Spirit? Wow. 9 of Wands, perfect. Sag energy at the sacral. So now, what you're starting to see as you're making moves forward is a reaction from these energies. You're being advised by Spirit to create some sort of boundary, a perimeter, with this energy that you are now starting to realize has been holding you back. Now, in a lot of cases, this can represent a person, people, environments, communities in your life that you need to break away from. But some of you are dealing with something that's more hidden. It's psychological. It's in the mind. It's behavioral patterns. It's limiting beliefs, which is shadow Gemini energy. That is something that you definitely have to face in your life, Gemini, is overcoming your own limiting beliefs. And in some cases, people can hear that and say, well, I can do that. But depending on how advanced this is for you, it can actually start to manifest itself into your environment. You are, after all, of the mind. That is your archetype. So you have the ability to manifest what is going on in your mind in your external environment. So there's some cleanup work that we need to do here. You're getting to a point in your life where you are outgrowing your own limiting beliefs. And because of this, you're being faced with restriction inside of your environment. But don't apologize for outgrowing their limits. And I'm hearing, don't look back to make them comfortable. You have to understand that the more dedicated you are on focusing on the path ahead, the more this new life, this new timeline, this new chapter will come into focus for you. I feel that there's been a lot of mountains that have been placed on your path that weren't even yours to begin with. Again, this is a passing down of a kind of generational karma of limiting beliefs. And something that might help you, Gemini, is that every time you doubt yourself, you need to understand that that's an echo of someone else's limitations, okay? This can also really begin to expose itself when you feel limited in going down a path that you've never been down before. It's like you're already imposing the restriction on a space that you have yet to discover. Simply put, it's an energy of self-sabotage. But this is a perfect example of an individual who's been gaslit out of their own destiny. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Pentacles. Okay, perfect. Now, this Four of Pentacles is speaking about what I just said. It's like you have a path open up for you, and then all of a sudden the limitations begin to flood through. So you hold back. I don't know if I want to do that. What if this, that, and the other happens, right? It's like making up a million excuses as to why you can't go down that path. And they're all based on something that you are carrying that does not belong to you. What do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? What do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? What do we have the solar plexus, please? Nine of Swords. 699. That Nine of Swords is your energy, Gemini. So this Nine of Swords is speaking about this self-sacrificing energy. It's this energy of self-sabotage that I was just speaking about. The only way to break out of this, Gemini, is by going directly through that fear. And based on what I'm picking up here intuitively, and with this Six of Swords at the foundation of the reading, it's one of these energies where when you get on the other side of it, you're going to be shocked that it got away with holding you back as long as it did. There's this sense here that you've been feeling behind in something, or, it's like one of these energies of feeling like, oh, it's too late now, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the case at all. It's like you've been running interference ever since you started to show potential in this direction that you've been wanting to go in. It's like the distractions, the detours, like I mentioned in the opening message, just began to increase. Sometimes it takes sitting down for a moment and just clearing your mind and thinking about your path, just retracing your steps. Where did things begin to go a bit haywire? Who was around? What were you dealing with? What were the circumstances at the time? There's something here, Gemini, that feels deeply disruptive to this path that you are being guided to go down. Right here, we have this, well, it looks like a bear there, but it's meant to be a wolf. And then we have this demon, right, which is clearly in the mentals. This is really representing that agitating energy that I've been picking up on. And that Nine of Swords is at that solar plexus position. It's like blocked solar plexus energy. It's like an energy of feeling like there's something you're powerless to, or you feel inferior. I just heard this is that energy that's been trying to shrink you, make you feel like you're beneath it. But this all has to do with your potential, again, exposing their mediocrity, whatever that means for you in regards to what you're dealing with. The source of this can most definitely be in your family. I've seen far too many situations where individuals are dealing with that crabs in the barrel mentality from their family. And they don't want to actually come to terms with that until they do. And once they do, they look back on their path and they start to realize that they wasted a whole lot of time with not accepting the truth around who some of these individuals really are. And, this is obviously not easy. It's difficult to do that because when it comes down to family, especially if they're close to you, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, or we have a tendency to give them a pass or make up excuses for them. And look, Gemini, there can be some situations, I suppose, where maybe that's harmless, okay? Everything is circumstantial here. But when it comes to what you're doing here, you have far too much to lose here, is what I'm getting, by not going down this path. You risk missing out on something monumental here, Gemini, is what I'm hearing. There's a greatness connected to this. Well, it's your greatness, but you have to show up to it. You have to show up to your own greatness. What do we have at the heart, please? Lovers, Gemini, that is your energy again at the heart. And this is a perfect depiction of what I'm picking up here. It's like that's your higher self, and this is you in the here and now. And see how there's, it's representing the temptation, right? And then here's spirit. So it's like this is you inside this cycle right now. To me, it's really representing the matrix of your life. Just everything that's been keeping you small, stuck, and feeling like you're about to burst out of a cage that you never knew you were inside of. And then your higher self is basically coming to rescue, saying, come on, let's go. It's time. And I just heard everything happens all at once. Now, this Lovers coming out at this heart position is telling me that the key to open up this new beginning is to make peace with everything that you have endured on your path up until this point. This is something that I always speak about. Seeing all the restrictions that we have faced, whether they're from the people, the circumstances, whatever it may be, as limited, right? Well, we've already established they're limited, but it's truly you processing that. They just don't see it. They don't get it. So what's the point of being mad at them? What's the point of even arguing your point? This is when, the term NPC and terms like the Matrix can really be useful and allow you to understand what might be taking place here. An NPC, a non-player character, right, which are the characters that are in video games that are just a part of the program, and you don't actually play those characters. They just have a set path that they walk inside the video game. That's what these people are. Everything for them is predestined. If you can begin to look at these situations, these people, from this limited perspective, it can really help to let go and move forward. Because in most, I would go as far as saying probably all cases, it's that holding on of that resentment that is still limiting you from fully experiencing and embracing your new beginning. It's like only parts of you are able to show up for that new chapter in your life. And there's parts of you that are still stuck in these past cycles because there's something that maybe you think you deserve or you're waiting on something, whatever it may be for you. But in any case, the importance of letting go and making peace as a means to move forward is crucial here. It's literally the key. No matter what they may have done to you or put you through, you have to look at it as though you're still harming or torturing yourself with those same actions by holding on to it. Now, I'm also of the belief that you can't force people to let go. People are only able to let go when they're truly ready to. This is something that I've had to learn myself. And all I can do is offer up some different perspective on these situations that will hopefully assist you in being able to get the wheel turning here. Because at the end of the day, Gemini, that wheel isn't going to fully turn in your favor until you understand what we're trying to channel through for you here. What do we have at the throat, please? Too many cards. 4 cups, the priestess. What do we have at the throat? 10 of Wands. Wow. Whew. What an energy. Gemini, we're right on target with this reading. This card just followed everything I said. In fact, some of my final words there before this card came out perfectly define this card. 10 of Wands. Showing us you handing over your burdens to the divine, to source. Right on the bottom of the deck, judgment. It's the necessary component to be able to trigger this new awakening. It's like you hand over the burdens and then boom, judgment begins to unfold in your life, in your favor. Now, the 10 of Wands, by definition, is the most burdened energy in the tarot, okay? This 10 of Wands is a little different because it shows us the evolution of the 10 of Wands. You're actually handing over these burdens now. It's an energy of release. It's an energy of letting go. And it's an energy of complete freedom. And see how in both of these cards here, you have a hand from the divine. Come on, let's go. All right, go ahead and hand over the burdens. You're not going to be able to take these with you. Gemini, this energy that we have on this table, by all accounts, is a rough energy, but I actually see this as incredibly positive because it's indicating to me that there is a massive breakthrough on the horizon for you. Right there. We have the sun, we have spirit on the horizon. Yeah, there's something so agitating and almost claustrophobic about this energy that you are preparing to move on from. It's like you see something, you hear something, you see somebody's reaction, you hear them in a way that you haven't heard before, and it's got something just erupting from the depths of your spirit. And you are not going to be satisfied until you make moves. It's like you're uncovering some sort of hidden suppression. But again, it's all psychological. It's like you had this silence programmed into you. You're only going to grow so far in this area, or you're only going to be able to expand so far. There's just this wall that you've hit. It's like setting out on a journey to walk around the globe and then hitting a wall and looking over the wall and seeing that there's an edge that you never knew was there. It's like you've reached the edge of your own universe, and you're not going to feel satisfied until you're able to expand beyond that wall. What do we have at the third eye, please? 6 of Cups in reverse. Cross the 6 of Swords and the 9 of Wands. Unbelievable. 6 of Cups is again following everything we just said, because it's an energy that wants you to think that your expectations for yourself are unrealistic, right? Underneath this 9 of Wands, no, Gemini, that's unrealistic. You can't do that. But then here you are, like hell I can't. This reading reminds me of those movies that we see, period pieces, movies that are set back in the times of the kings and the queens and the peasants living in the villages. And I guess kind of like a, for those of you that have seen the show, kind of like a Game of Thrones kind of scenery. And it's like, this is you breaking free. It's like you're going beyond the wall, right? It's like here you are preparing, and this energy is like, where do you think you're going? This is you seeing them in that light that you've never seen them in before. And you can't let this go. Nine of Swords, right? It just keeps repeating on you. It's like something calling you. Now, obviously, everything I'm talking about here is metaphorical, okay? So apply this as it makes sense with your situation. But like I already mentioned, this can also be psychological. The limitations of your own mind that are the result of something that might be environmental. But there's also a sense of returning home here. Look, we have that sort of scenery again, right? The village and just this Game of Thrones kind of era. I just heard there's a return to self. There's a blessing that's connected to this as well, Gemini. Okay, I just heard reunion of self. And Six of Cups can also be an energy that represents a reunion, but this is with you, right? It's like a reunion between you and your higher self. There's an energy here that wants you living in the past, right? Wants to keep you small, wants to shrink you. But you've run this cycle far too many times now to just willingly do this again. It's one of these situations where you begin to see the repeating pattern in your own life. It's not coincidental. It's not all in your mind. It's real. It's playing out. And this is when you start to look at some of the other people in your environment and you see this sort of NPC mindset. It's like you see what they can't. And that's just not something that you can accept. You can't live with that. It's not a matter of, oh, well, live and let live. No, this is different. This is life. This is serious. It's deeply unsettling. It makes you feel alone. How can they not see what I'm seeing? It makes you feel crazy. It makes you feel like there's some sort of deeper conspiracy in your life. But this is what a calling feels like, Gemini. When people are called to make these kinds of changes in their life, 0 times has it ever been easy for individuals to receive that call and follow through. When you receive that call, it triggers a kind of war. It's unseen, but it's there. It's spiritual. That's that judgment energy that I just saw. And the fact we don't have judgment sitting on the table, well, yet, we still have more energy to pull here. It's telling me that it hasn't happened yet. The realization, the awakening of this is what's going down right now. But you're very much in the throes of this, or you're about to be. And this is one of these readings when I look at the Six of Swords and I see the little boy there as your inner child, right? There's something here that is highlighting your inner child, which could be the epicenter, psychologically speaking, for what I've been picking up here. The limitation, right? It's like something being placed on you as a child. You go throughout your life, you get to this point now that this thing was placed on you back then, and unless you break this cycle, and I just heard, break the cycle and also complete the cycle of self. Very interesting. I don't think I've put it that way before. But it's like you break out of one cycle and then you have this reconnection with your inner child, which allows you to embrace that version of you that was at the epicenter of said impact. Wow, unbelievable. 10 of Swords, the world. Both these cards just followed what I said. The world is an energy of completion, completing the cycle. 10 of Swords, an ending and a beginning. What do we have at the Crown, please, Spirit? Knight of Swords in reverse, air energy at the Crown. Now, I feel that this Knight of Swords in reverse is speaking about the exposure, the reaction. what you see now that you didn't see before. All of a sudden, you start to wiggle free, right? And then you just see something in a completely different light, and they react. Knight of Swords in reverse. It's like in that moment, chains, shackles can almost be felt all around your life. See, I said life as opposed to you, because this energy has enmeshed itself into all areas of your life. I'm seeing a cobweb in my mind's eye. That's what it feels like. It feels like being stuck inside a cobweb. For some of you Geminis out there, this can also be a situation where you have been dealing with an individual or individuals in your life that try to keep you small by making it seem like they're providing for you in some capacity. Now, what I'm getting here, just so I can try and explain this to you a little further, how this works. Narcissistic people will often come across as very generous, but at the root of it, it's actually sourced within their need to control the flow of energy in and out of your life. Now, make no mistake, they'll guilt trip you for that, but not expecting that you'll ever actually grow out of that space. It's a way of draining your energy. Now, an example of this would be somebody who kidnaps somebody. This person is kept locked away for years after years, and the person who kidnapped them has done so much psychological damage to this person that they actually get the person to think that they should be grateful that their kidnapper is actually giving them a meal. Something like this, okay? Now, that's a pretty extreme example, but it's really just a way of allowing you to understand the psychological warfare behind what I'm picking up here. Simply put, Gemini, there's something deeply parasitical about this energy, and it's been masquerading as support. But you start to see the cracks when you try to expand beyond this energy. And again, it's shocking to them because they never expected this. Because the warfare that they've used against you, psychologically speaking, was something they never thought you would be able to overcome. What do we have at the foundation, please? Four of Wands, Aries energy at the foundation of the reading. Okay, unbelievable. Now, the Four of Wands is an energy of literally moving out, leaving home, or just transitioning on from a certain environment, a certain space. And it's right underneath that Six of Swords, which is also an energy of moving on, transitioning on. There's a strong energy here of relocation, moving, travel for some of you, but really take it as it fits. But in most cases, it's just representing the movement of energy, okay? For some of you, it could definitely be literal, but there is a breakthrough here. And if you can manage to push through this, you're going to be in an energy of celebration, okay? Some of you are preparing to really go for it, is what I just heard. Four of Wands is also directly connected to communities, family, friends, things like this, which has been highlighted throughout this reading. So we're just getting more confirmations on top of the confirmations we already had here. Now, right on the bottom of the deck, Nine of Wands again. So Nine of Wands, Nine of Wands. What do we have at the sacral, please? Temperance, red in its shadow, Sag energy at the sacral. So the Temperance card from this deck is further highlighting some sort of disruptive energies that are inside your environment. Okay, I'm hearing something about them trying to lock down things harder. There's just something here, Gemini. It's like as soon as you show some signs that you're leaving, that you're moving on, that you're expanding, it's like this energy tries to double down. Okay, double down. I think that is a bit more descriptive regarding what I'm picking up here. It just tries to make things difficult for you. It's not in support of you. And this further highlights this energy here, right? It's like, where do you think you're going? You're like, what? What do you mean? And this is when you start to have that feeling erupt from inside of you. It's, again, deeply agitating. I gotta admit, Gemini, I'm picking up on some anger here, but it's well-placed anger. You know, anger doesn't always have to be something that is negative or bad. It's a natural reaction that all people should allow themselves to feel. when they feel it, especially when it comes to what I'm picking up here, because this is one of these situations where you're discovering something that you felt was always there, but you couldn't really put words to it or feeling to it really, or you just couldn't really compartmentalize it. It's just something that was, again, agitating you from deep within your spirit. And now you are starting to be able to source it. What do we have with the solar plexus, please? Nine of Cups, Pisces energy underneath the Nine of Swords at the solar plexus. 9, 9, 9. Like I said, Gemini, you are on the precipice of a huge change here. Yeah, it's like something's just getting ready to boil over, and I just feel that's you. That's just, you've had enough. The Nine of Cups is really speaking about how dissatisfied you feel with your current set of circumstances after this illumination. It's also an energy of feeling like you have been taken for granted, right? That your dreams, your hopes, your desires were just never really that important, but it's only something you're just now beginning to realize, because it was only now that you began to show some sort of real world hints that you were actually going to be able to pull this off. And the Nine of Cups from this deck, whenever I get this card, it just makes me think about somebody who's like, no, Gemini, I'll take care of that. It's like somebody who acts like they're doing the heavy lifting in your life. But there's some sort of ulterior motive. The Moon, Beelzebub, right? There's something hidden. Wow. The Two of Swords from this deck, whenever I get this guy, it's like somebody who's saying, I'm always sticking my neck out for you, Gemini. I got your best interest in mind, right? But it's like a greasy salesman, right? High Priestess. Yeah, it's like the devil on your shoulder, the angel on your shoulder. And this is also an energy, the High Priestess from this deck. It speaks about individuals who have hidden agendas. There's something very superficial here. This is what Spirit is making you aware of right now. And you know, there's only so much that the divine Spirit can do in your life because of your free will. They'll expose these things to you. They'll illuminate the truth to you. But sometimes people just aren't prepared to see it or just don't want to see it. They'd rather live the lie than come to terms with a lot of what we're picking up here. And right as I started to say that, my voice went a bit hoarse. I'm feeling this restriction in my throat. It's like something does not want to be exposed here. But it's, again, a situation where you just wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, everything has just been a complete lie. I need to get out of here. I need to go. I'm not living this life. What do we have at the heart, please? Three of Wands, Aries energy, impossible plans at the heart. Now, the Three of Wands is an energy here that wants you to think that you're unprepared, okay? Again, just followed what I said. I just said, I need to go. I need to get out of here, right? And then this energy comes through. Oh, no, you can't do that. You're not prepared for that. What about this? What about that? It's an energy that wants you to fear the unknown. Now, the positive message from this Three of Wands here is that you need to put together a solid plan here, whatever this represents for you. Yes, the message that I just said about, I need to go, I need to get out of here, it sounds urgent, and it really depends on your circumstances, but it's important that you take the time to put together a game plan. Okay, do it right. Just do it quietly. Don't tell people your moves. Not now, not ever. You do not tell people your plans before you have put your plans into motion. I feel that this reading here is all about making the decision to make the moves. And then the next obvious step is getting your plan in place. And then we have the Seven of Cups, Scorpio energy, Ashila, contemplation. Okay, So this is speaking about the decisions that you need to make now, Gemini, okay? Are you going to abandon your destiny like these individuals want? Are you going to stay stuck inside of a fantasy and be defined by all the things you could have been? Or are you going to go and get it? Because Spirit is asking you what you want and to make a decision. Because the support is here for you. They want to bring this to you. But you have to understand that they can't allow you to access it where you are, right? I mean, I feel like that goes without saying. It's something that you should probably already know. Energetically speaking, vibrationally speaking, it's just not possible. These people cannot share in what the divine has in store for you. It requires your dedication. It requires your faith. See, that's another part to this. Faith. Spirit saying to you, hey, look, this is what we want to bring through for you, but this is what we got to do first. Do you trust us? Do you have faith that we're going to make this happen for you? Because that faith is actually what manifests it into your waking life to begin with. So you have to believe. And I get it. It's easier said than done, especially when you've been in cycles like this all your life. A win of this magnitude, you feel so beaten down that the idea of something so extraordinary happening for you just almost seems far-fetched, right? But it's not. I can tell you that based on experience. I know what this feels like. Faith it's a real thing, and it will prove itself to you. But you have to prove yourself to it. The universe is always going to give you what you put out. That's universal law. Gemini, I challenge you to test that. And right on the bottom of the deck, there it is, Eight of Swords. So we've been speaking about this card. This is that energy of feeling like you've been caged. But now you're turning this around. You're liberating yourself from this space. You're understanding that for you to stay there is, well, you deciding to do so. You don't need to. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Hermit, Virgo energy at the throat. Alchemy and transformation. Rules natural events helps with spiritual progress. Now, the absolute best thing you can do right now, Gemini, is do a bit of soul searching, okay? Get into a quiet place and just sit with yourself, sit with spirit. Just stop and listen. Listen to the breeze, listen to leaves rustling on a tree. Wherever you may be, just listen to Mother Nature and the environment. Allow yourself the opportunity to get into a space where the divine can give you downloads that are not intercepted and or interfered with. And that's right underneath that 10 of Wands, right? Handing over your burdens. It's like the divine saying to you, okay, look, we're going to do this, okay? But we got to get you in the right energy. We need you to really center yourself, really ground yourself and connect with us. We're going to guide you through this. And it makes sense that this message is coming through because of that agitating energy that I've been picking up on. Sort of like when you have an itch on your arm, and so you itch where you think it is, but that's not where it's at. So you start moving your hand around trying to find the epicenter of the itchy spot, and you just can't find it. And then you just come to the conclusion that it must be under your skin, right? This is what this feels like. It's like an itch that you can't scratch, and it just leads to this deeply agitating feeling that you just cannot shake, but it's all spiritual in nature. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Justice. Libra energy at the third eye. Now, I was mentioning earlier on in the reading about seeing people for who they really are, right? Coming to terms with all of that. And the Justice card, justice is blind, right? It doesn't matter who they have always been in your life. If they're doing these certain things to you and holding you back in this capacity, you need to disassociate yourself from the identity that you have always given them and just look at it as being restrictive or supportive in your life. And I feel that this is another message that Spirit is trying to convey to you right now. Just look at all areas of your life. What is supporting you and what isn't? See, justice, universal justice, divine justice, so to speak, it's something that we very much have control over because it is something that requires action on our part. We have to take the necessary steps to self-empower and allow the divine to bring forward justice. It's not going to knock on your front door because, again, we have free will. You know what it's like? It's like somebody who is the victim of a crime, but they don't go to the police station and report the crime. The police aren't just going to read your mind and show up in your front doorstep and say, hey, do you want to report that crime? No. You have to go and file the charges yourself. This is just an example of what I'm getting here, but it's obviously from the position of self-empowerment. Having said all that, you hold the scales. All right, what do we have at the crown to close out the reading, please, Spirit? Ten of Pentacles, Virgo energy at the crown to close out the reading. After all that, we close the reading with one of the greatest energies that we can have to finish up this journey. Your spiritual inheritance. Ten of Pentacles. Inner and outer work. This is speaking about everything we have been saying here. It being up to you, right? That these steps you're being guided to take all lead to a monumental breakthrough. And what better breakthrough to get than the Ten of Pentacles? The Ten of Pentacles, again, is your spiritual inheritance. It's your legacy. It also sees you establishing some sort of wealth, some sort of foundation. And there's an energy of affluence here. Big energy is really what it comes down to. And this sees you right on top of this dream, this vision, this idea, whatever it is for you, pulling off what you have been told time and time again you couldn't. What you had been told was unrealistic. But this is, again, you realizing that the only reason why you were told this is because it exposes their mediocrity. Based on what I'm seeing here, there's something waiting for you. You're expected to show up. And I feel that this is something that is becoming clearer and clearer to you. But I'm here to tell you that it's not for nothing. It's for something. It's because you're being called. So go and get it. Go and be great. All right, Gemini, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you would like to support my channel, there are a few ways you can go about doing this. Of course, donations are always greatly appreciated, and I would like to extend my gratitude for all of you who continue to show your generosity to the channel. You can also check out my online store, which consists of items that I have designed myself. I'm very proud of it. There's also a lot of new things there. There's a lot of new things coming over the next few days. So go have a browse if you feel inclined to. Information for personal readings can also be found down below. You can also sign up for my channel memberships. It's only $2.99 a month. I upload additional videos there that are not available on the public side of my platform. And lastly, if this reading resonated with you, please drop me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.